Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here today. My name is Cathlea, and I'm very excited to share my midterm project with all of you. The title of my presentation is Academic Life Journey Beyond the Classroom. I hope that through this presentation, we can reflect together on how learning extends far beyond the textbooks and lectures. This presentation is part of the course Academic Speaking for Scientific Purposes, guided by our respected lecturer, Professor Dr. Mashadi Said, M.Pd. I would like to thank you, Professor, for your continuous guidance and support throughout this course. When I first thought about this topic, I asked myself, what does academic life really mean? Is it just about attending lectures, completing assignments, and getting grades? Or is there something deeper behind the experience of being student? Through this presentation, I would like to share my understanding of what academic life means to me, what I have learned so far, and how I believe every student can grow throughout the process of learning, both inside and beyond the classroom. So, let's begin this journey together. Moving to the next slide. Okay, before I start, let me give you a brief overview of my presentation. There are seven main parts that I will talk about today. First, we will discuss understanding academic life. Second, I will share about adapting to academic culture. Then, I will move on to managing time and building steady habits. After that, I will talk about overcoming challenges. The fifth part is learning beyond the classroom. The sixth, we will talk about building connection. And finally, I will close with a short summary of everything we have discussed. So, that is the roadmap for today's presentation. Let's begin our journey with the first point. Okay, the first part of our discussion is understanding academic life, which I like to call where learning begins. Academic life is the foundation of our intellectual growth. It's the environment that encourages us to think critically, to question what we know, and to explore what we don't. One of the most beautiful things about being in academia is the freedom it gives us. The freedom to choose our interests, to express our opinions, and to learn in our unique way. However, that freedom always comes with responsibility. So, when we talk about understanding academic life, we are not only talking about books and lectures, we are talking about life itself, how we grow through learning, how we adapt, and how we keep moving forward, one lesson at a time. The next slide is adapting to academic culture, which I summarize in three simple words: think, respect, and grow. The first step is adapting is learning to think critically and independently. In academic culture, we are encouraged not just to accept information, but to analyze it, to ask why, how, and what if. Personally, when I first started adapting to academic life, I struggled with the balance between independence and teamwork. But as I become more involved in group discussions and collaborative projects, I realized that true growth happens when we think deeply, respect others, and grow together. In the end, adapting to academic culture is not something that happens overnight. It's a continuous process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. And through that process, we will slowly transform from students into scholars. Okay, now let's move on to something that every student can relate to: managing time and building study habits. I like to call this part plan smart, learn smart, because I have learned that success in academic life isn't just about how hard we work, it's about how wisely we manage our time and energy. The first key is prioritize and plan ahead. We often have so many assignments, exams, and presentations that it can feel overwhelming. To illustrate this, I have included my photo of my personal to-do list on the slide. It may look simple, but it helps me visualize what needs to be done each day. The second photo shows a draft of my PowerPoint outline. It so decided to include it because it represents one of my study habits. Having a clear outline helps me stay focused and ensure that every slide connects smoothly to the next. Moving on to the next part, okay? Overcoming challenges, or as I like to call it, turning struggle into strength. Let's be honest, academic life is not always easy. Every student, no matter how motivated, will face moments of difficulty. The key is to recognize the challenge and take action instead of ignoring it. When I feel stuck, I try to break big tasks into the smaller ones. It's become manageable steps. I have also learned that it's okay to seek support from classmates, mentors, or even family. Sometimes a short conversation with someone who understands can completely change our mindset. Overcoming challenges doesn't mean eliminating them completely. It means learning how to face them with resilience, patience, and a positive attitude. Because in the end, those very struggles that once made us doubt ourselves often become the experience that shapes our strength and confidence. Moving to the next slide. Okay, so the next part of my presentation is one of my favorite, learning beyond the classroom. I truly believe that education happens everywhere. While the classroom gives us theories, concepts, and structure, the real world gives us experience. And that's where knowledge becomes wisdom. Learning beyond classroom means opening ourselves to the lesson that life itself offers. It could be through joining student organization, taking part in community services, or working on projects outside our comfort zone. So, learning beyond the classroom is about embracing every opportunity to grow. It's about seeing every experience, big or small, as a lesson. Because in the end, education isn't confined within four walls. It continues wherever curiosity, effort, and passion take us. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, which is building connection. One of the most beautiful part in academic life is opportunity to connect with others. We meet people from different backgrounds, experience, ideas, and perspectives. Networking with peers and lecturers is an essential part of this journey. Our classmates and professors are just not people we study with. They are potential collaborators, supporters, and sometimes lifelong friends. Another meaningful part of building connection is finding mentors and role models. These are people who guide us through their experience and wisdom. On this slide, I have included a photo of my class together with our lecturer, Prof. Hadi. This photo is very special to me because it captures what academic life truly means: learning, growing, and building memories together. Okay, and now let's move on to the summary of my presentation. I would like to wrap up my journey with something I call the RISE principle. The word RISE represents four key values that, in my opinion, define a meaningful academic life. R stands for reflect and research. Academic life is not just about absorbing information, it's about reflecting on what we have learned and researching deeper to understand the world around us. I. I stands for inspire and interact. We learn best when we inspire others and open ourselves to interaction. Every conversations, every teamwork, every debate adds value to our learning experience. S. S is stand for study with purpose. Studying should not be a routine. It should have meaning. When we study with clear goals and passion, we are not only remember better, but also growth with intention. And finally is E. E stands for evolve continuously. Learning never ends. The world is always changing, and so must we. The most successful learners are those who stay curious and continue evolving, both academically and personally. So the RISE principle reminds us that academic life is not just about grades or title. It's about becoming thoughtful, inspired, purposeful, and ever-evolving individuals. Okay, for the last slide, the closing is to conclude. I would like to say thank you to my lecturer, Prof. Hadi, for the guidance and knowledge shared throughout this course, and to my classmates for the collaborations, encouragement, and memorable experience. I hope that this presentation reminds all of us that in the end, education is not just about knowledge. It's about becoming a better version of ourselves every single day. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.